I was in my office Wednesday and my phone rings, and on the next slide we have a picture, family, and this guy, Matt, calls me, and I haven't talked to Matt in a really long time. I knew Matt and his now wife, Brianna, while I was going to seminary in Orlando. They went to the same church that Lindsay and I did. And after we left, they got married. They went off with Wycliffe Bible translators and serve as Bible translators. And I haven't talked to Matt in a really long time, but my phone rings in the office. It says unknown, and you don't take those calls, but for whatever reason, I answer the phone, and it's Matt's voice on the other side of the line. And he is discouraged. He's discouraged because they're on the field, things seem to be going well. He's learned the language, he's just finished his master's classes, they're translating the books of Genesis and the Psalms, and some of their support has backed out, has had to pull out. Cost of living has increased, and so they've got a monthly deficit, and Wycliffe has told them, hey, if you can't raise these funds from on the field, we're going to have to pull you off the field, send you back to the States so that you can raise more support. That's discouraging. But not only that, what's most discouraging is their 4-year-old son, Silas, here, has been really sick. And the doctors can't figure out what's going on. And so Matt has been having to take a lot of time off. He's been having to care for Silas, and Wednesday was going to have to take him back to the hospital again. And so Matt's on the other end of the line. We're talking a little bit. He's discouraged. And in the course of the conversation, I say, hey, Matt, where exactly are you guys right now? Because I knew you'd been in Sudan, but because of unrest there and cost of living, I knew that Wycliffe had pulled all the translators out. I'd heard that they'd landed in Southeast Asia, but I didn't know exactly where. And he says, well, Aaron, there's this sliver of India right between Nepal and Bhutan, and we're right there. And I say, brother, me and a couple of our elders are about to be right in that region in just like 3 or 4 weeks. And immediately, right, I hear his voice kind of start to perk up. And he's like, really? And I'm like, yeah, where do you live? I don't know Indian geography very well, but he names the city. I pull it up on Google. I start looking. I see that Darjeeling is really close. I tell him, hey, man, I know that we were supposed to go to Darjeeling. Now he gets really excited. He just interrupts me. He's like, hey, Aaron, you can't get to Darjeeling without passing by our house from the airport. You got to come see us. And I have to break the news to him. Hey, man, we're not flying in to that region. We're coming from the other way, I think, and our itinerary's changed. I got to check and see what's going on, but if at all possible, we'll stop by. And so I shoot off an email to Eric and to Art, and I just write them and I say, hey, I've got this family of really discouraged Bible translators. And they're right there in the city in India, and is there any way, like, we could stop by to encourage them? Within 30 minutes, Art sends me a message, and he says, Aaron, you're not going to believe this, buddy, but they just live, like, minutes away from Dawa's house. So I'm just, like, a mess in my office, Because I get to frantically, like, write this email to Matt and Brianna and say, hey, we're coming. Is there anything you want us to bring from the States? And what can we do to encourage you? We're coming. We're going to be there. Just hold on. We're coming. I get to text Lindsay and share, hey, we're going to go see the Armans. We're going to stop right by there. Art and Eric have been so kind. We're going to block off a day at the end of the trip. We're going to spend it with them. And we're rejoicing because our family has committed that we're going to pay for this trip, and now all of a sudden we're seeing the pieces come together. And I had to just stop everything I was doing in my office and just sing to the Lord, because I was able to see how much God loves Matt and Brianna. That he cares for them so much, and he knew that their hearts were going to be discouraged. And so even before I knew about it, before they knew, before I knew where they were, God was mobilizing his people from the other side of the world to come and encourage them. And I'll tell you what, my heart has sung the Lord's praises all week long. If you saw me Wednesday night, I was practically walking on air because I know that if God loves Matt and Brianna that way, guess what? He loves you and me that same way, doesn't he?